Hello everyone, welcome back. So in this video, we are going to discuss about how to create Grafana dashboard by fetching the data from Influxdb. So before getting started, let me tell you about the flow of the video. So first, we are going to discuss about the data in the Influxdb, which we are going to use for Grafana dashboard. And after that, we are going to discuss about getting started with Grafana and then fetching the data from InfluxDB, and then how to represent it on the Grafana dashboard using different types of charts. So let me also tell you, if you are someone who wants to know how to insert the data into the InfluxDB, so I would recommend to go through the video that I'm tagging in this video, and also I'll keep the video in the description as well. So that video will be very much helpful to you to know how to insert the data into the InfluxDB, and then you can come back to this video to know about the Grafana dashboard. So let's get started. So on my screen, you can see the InfluxDB login screen. So it's running on the default port, that is 8086, and you can see I'm using the version 2.4. Let's do the sign in, and let me go to the buckets, and we have my DB which I have created. Okay, so this is a data I have inserted, which is called as Allure report. So let me tell you about the type of data I have. So this is the JSON data which I have inserted into the InfluxDB. So here you can see this data. So only the highlighted data I have used for insertion into the InfluxDB. Here the total tag represents like the total number of test cases we have, and pass tag indicates the number of test cases working fine. Here we have given a number 99. Similarly, failed indicates the number of test cases which are not working fine. And we have broken, skipped, and unknown tags. So we have inserted this data multiple times by changing the values. Like sometimes I have given 209, sometimes I have given 199, maybe 66. Accordingly, the fail tag is modified and inserted into the InfluxDB. So let me show you the data on the InfluxDB. So let me view raw data. Let me see the data for last 2 days, and you can see the data. Okay, but these values are averaged. So let me get the raw values by modifying the query from the script editor. So to do this task, let me tell you, you don't have to know this query language. So the query language used here is called as Flux, but you don't have to know it to perform the task like fetching the data from InfluxDB and displaying it on the Grafana dashboard. So I'll tell you how to do that. Okay, so as you can see that we actually did not write this query. So this is the generated query by InfluxDB by selecting the tags. So if you are using the InfluxDB from quite some time, you are already aware of this. So this is the data I have inserted. You can see its fail tag is 6 at one point of time, and for other it is 26 and 36. So yeah, accordingly also pass variable, you can see we have a different values which we can use for the graphs. So this is about the data on the InfluxDB. So let's get started with the Grafana. So when you want to get started with Grafana, you have to open this URL for the Grafana download, which I'll place in the description, and then you have to select the OS. So mine is Windows. So here you can use two. You can install it in the two ways. Either you can use the Windows installer, or you can use the standalone Windows binaries. So when you do by the first way, that is by using installer, you will get an installer which is getting downloaded. And then let me show you. So yeah, you can see .msi file which is getting downloaded. Then once the download is completed, when you click on that, you just have to click on the next button, and just complete the installation. And then once you complete the installation, you should open the local host 3000. So this is a default port on which Grafana runs. So you should click on there, and I'm already logged in. So ideally it would ask you for the login. Okay, let me do the logout. So yeah, this is how the login page is displayed. So you just have to enter admin and admin, which is the default username and password. Okay, so that's it. Then you can be logged in. And when you are doing the login for the first time, it would ask to for to enter the new password. So then you should enter your new password, and which will be used for next login onwards. Okay, so for me, since I have this is not the first time I'm using the Grafana, I have already updated the password, and I'm using the updated password already. So yeah, so this is how the Grafana homepage looks. So then once you have done with the Grafana, so this is with the installer. So if you want to do with the standalone Windows libraries, you can just download the zip file and unzip that zip file. So let me show you how it looks. It is in the download. So this is the zip file which is unzipped actually. So yeah, this is how it looks. And then if you have downloaded it from Windows, sorry, downloaded from the zip file, then you have to manually start the server. So for that, you have to go inside this bin folder, start the Grafana server. Yeah, since it's already started for me, I'm not starting it again. So one glitch I have noticed here is like at this point of time when I have installed the Grafana, this Windows installer, like when we use the Windows installer, the installation works fine. But once we start once we use the localhost 300 and try to sign in from there by using the default username and password, that is admin and admin, it's not working. And I have also verified in the configuration. The configuration is set to the admin and admin, but still it doesn't work at this point of time when I'm doing the video. So I have just used the zip file, and I have started using it. So I have also seen in the online that a few users are facing this problem. I just want to let you know, in case if you face this problem, just use the zip file. So yes, click here. So the arrow mark here. Okay, and then go to the data sources, because actually first we need to link the Grafana with the InfluxDB. So that configuration we need to do first. And so you should click on add data source. Okay, so then this kind of page will be displayed. I have already added the data source. I'll just show you how these values would be. You just have to give the name, any name, that is fine. And then comes to the query language. Here there are two types, two values, out of which you can select one. First one is the InfluxQL and the second one is the Flux. The Flux, so this means like the query language, like the InfluxQL is supported on InfluxDB, which is less than 1.8. That is still 1.7 version. The InfluxQL is supported, but from 1.8 plus, the Flux query language is supported. Okay, so as we discussed, my InfluxDB is 2.4. I can use the Flux query language. Okay, so I'm using Flux. I believe most of you might be having 1.8 plus, because 1.7 is quite old now. If you are using 1.7, then you should use InfluxUL. Okay, now you should give the URL. Okay, this is the URL on which the InfluxDB is running. For me, it's running on the 8086, which is the default port of the InfluxDB. And that's all. You can leave these two fields. And authorization, you can enable the basic authorization and give username and password which you have used for the InfluxDB login. Okay, for the login of the InfluxDB, whatever the credentials you are using, you can just use that. Okay, and then we have the InfluxDB details, where we have to give the organization token. Okay, organization you can see like when you here and then click on the about, then you will get the organization name here. Okay, then use that organization name, and then you need the token. Okay, for the token, again go to the InfluxDB and click on this up arrow where we have the API tokens option. Okay, then if you don't have token, you have to generate it. Click on the generate. I'm selecting all axis. You can select read or write or all axis. Anything should be fine. Okay, you can just give the description and save it. Then you will have a token something like this, which I already have. Okay, which you can just copy to the clipboard and just input here. Okay, and then you should use the bucket name from which you are going to fetch the data. Okay, for us it's MyDB, which we have already looked into where our data resides. So for me it's MyDB. Okay, and then yeah, this one I'm leaving it as a default values. Okay, you can input if you want to vary from the default values. Okay, once you have done this, just have to click on save and test, so that it would tell you if there is anything missing in the configuration. Okay, if everything is fine, it will show some green color tick box which says the data source is working fine, and also it displays the number of buckets found. Okay, for me we have 3 buckets in our influx, so it tells the 3 buckets. Okay, so this part is done, where we have successfully linked the Grafana with the InfluxDB. Now we have to create the dashboard. So for that, we have to go to the dashboard by clicking on the arrow. Okay, and go to the dashboards and click on new dashboard. Click on add new panel. Okay, we have the panel title. Okay, which we can input. So I would say test case report, test case execution report, which suits which suits the type of data I'm using right now. Okay, so now I would go to InfluxDB, and then I would save you raw data, and then I would submit, which would give me the data. So let me modify the query to get the data, raw data, but not the average data. So this query I can just simply copy and then paste it in the Grafana dashboard. Okay, so I would click on apply now. So we can see we're getting some dots here. But this is the data of last 6 hours. Let me modify it to the last 2 days. Now you can see this is like 2 days back. I have inserted some data, and just before the video recording, I have inserted some data. So as of now, the type of graph we are using, that you can see here, just time series where my mouse is there. Just click there. Okay, you can select a different type of charts based on your data set. Okay, whatsoever suits for your data set, you can select different graphs here and play around. For me, for this kind of data which I'm using, the best suitable is a time series. So why? Because like okay, let me change the colors first. It doesn't make sense. So let me click on this color, just where my mouse is, and the number total. I'm clicking on this color of total. I would like to give some color which is a neutral. So I would give blue, because it indicates about the total cases. And then I'll give the pass, which means that number of cases that's been successful, which should be the green, because if something is working fine, then it should be green, which is a positive news, right? And if something is not working fine, then that is a bad news. I'll give the red color. Okay, similarly skipped, that is fine. Orange color, unknown, this is fine. So you see the total cases for which is 209, which stays the same. The total number of cases doesn't really change often. That is fine. So initially, like out of 209, 199 cases were passed like 2 days back, and now today you can see only 99 are passed, and the line is drawn between them, which indicates that the number of cases that's been working fine has been reduced from 199 to 99. So there is something wrong, that completely visible from the graph. Okay, when you see the graph, you can see something is wrong. Okay, so this graph is suitable for the kind of data I'm using. Okay, for you, maybe you just have to experiment. Like sometimes maybe the pie chart may be suitable, like for few of the cases, but here it's not suitable, because you can see, so it's actually displaying only one set of data, not the multiple. So in few cases, bar chart may be sensible. So here you can see different sets of data we have. So here 20 out of 209, 99 are passed, and before that 199 on pass, and before that 169. In the time series, you are unable to see like this many data set, because they're actually very tightly close enough that it's not visible, because I just inserted at the same point of time, so it got merged, so it's not that much visible in the time series. You can see here 6, you can see, and if I move the cursor a little bit, you can see the other dots as well, right? Which I'm unable to move my cursor. But yeah, you can see 3 red dots, which indicates 3 different data sets in almost same time frame. It's not much gap. There is not much gap between those data sets. Okay. Yes, that's how you can do. And also you can do different operations here. Okay. Also add different properties here. So if you want to like the fill opacity, you can do that. So if you can see that when you fill the opacity, so it would add the color. So below that line, just fills up the gap between that line and the baseline. So it makes sense to add the opacity here, because we're more focused on the cases which are working fine, so that it would give us an good look, like how many cases are working fine now or 2 days back, or that are different dates, like the graph. So here the graph indicates we need to do some work. because our cases are not working fine, then there is something wrong on the product side. Maybe the application is not working fine. We need to check that, or your scripts are not good, which has to be corrected. So that's all from this session. Please do let me know on the comment section about how do you like this video, or if you would like me to do any other videos on the similar topics, please do mention in the comment section. Thank you.
If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and please do subscribe for more videos.